Hello and welcome to the Group 13 Tech Demo. I'm Tom Whaley and I'll be guiding you through the various changes that we've made since our pitch. I guess the first thing we should cover is the ship. As you know, player will be driving this 99% of the game. It's a main character, it's all very important. So, in our previous pitch, you'll remember our little Eggbot, who I love, but unfortunately he was a little bit on the janky side. Mainly that he had a kind of a physics cube for all the movement simulation stuff, and then a skeletal mesh for the visuals, and then another static mesh for his collision. It was all a little bit janky. But since then, we've rebuilt it from scratch, and everything is now a single skeletal mesh, I'm proud to say. And this makes it much easier for things like our animators and tech people, as, for example, turning left and right, we now get a nice little banking animation. And they can add other things like flaps opening and closing, or engines turning, all sorts of fun things. It also means we can do things like damage and have bits fly off when you collide with things. But really, really exciting stuff. So as before, we can do, loops, and do a barrel roll. So on the whole, ship's working great and does everything that we need. Not quite game ready yet, but it's a very, very solid base to work from, and we'll constantly be updating it and improving it. But I'll just show you some collision. So we'll just bounce into this, and bounce off. But yeah, collision is all working as it should, ship's working as it should, very happy on that front. Okay, so the next thing to go over is our AI. For the AI, I've tried to make it as human as possible in that it'll only have access to the controls that a player would. So, it can move the mouse left and right, do WSD, fire its primary and secondary weapons, all of that stuff. And hopefully that'll make it feel more like an actual pilot than a simple machine that's kind of turning to the precise point that it needs to and then going on and all that sort of thing. The other benefit of this is that since it's using the exact same controls as the player, is that we can possess any AI ship in the world and test it ourselves. So we can test that the collision's working properly, that weapons are firing at a nice speed, all that sort of stuff. And so this kills two birds with one stone, in that it means that the designers can very quickly look for problems, go, oh wow, this ship's flying a bit fast. And we can also make it that the player can technically fly any ship, so things like cheat codes or unlocking upgrades and things should be much, much faster for us to implement, because as long as the ship works with the player, we know that it'll work for the AI, since they control it using the exact same techniques. As of right now, we have the AI doing two main tasks, I guess three technically. We have it able to chase the player or flee from the player, and it can shoot at the player if the player is within, the right range of its weapons. So we'll try chasing it first. Let's give that a go. Okay, so there it is flying off, and it should avoid all of the obstacles in its path without too much issue. I'll try and kind of make it flee towards the various things. Yeah, as you can see, it's doing its best to avoid us, and at the same time not crashing into any giant cubes or space rocks that are in its way. Okay, so next let's put it on the other side of the asteroid field and have it chase us. So fingers crossed that this works properly. Oh, I sent it a little bit too far. Turn it around, set it to chase us. So, for the enemy AI, we've decided not to make them too aggressive, just as we're hoping to have dozens of them flying around at once. If they're constantly opening fire on you, tracking you the whole time, it'll make it a little bit overwhelming for the player. So there should be, a good kind of 10-second pause between each pass at you. As you can see it doing here. And the whole time, it should do its best to avoid the rocks. I haven't made it perfect, as I do want, the odd AI to smash into an asteroid and turn into a fireball of death, but on the whole, they will do a whoops. It's doing a better job than I am so far of avoiding the rocks. But as you can see, it's finding a nice vector to swoop at me from, and then doing a little flyby. Again, no collisions so far. Okay, so that just about wraps up our tech demo. There are a few more things for us to get sorted, primarily things like flocking behavior and making the AI kind of follow a spline should make things easier for our level designers when it comes to, like scripting missions and routes for dive bombers to follow, just so the player knows where they're going to be coming from, kind of thing. Another thing that we need to work on, which shouldn't be too far away, is a kind of 3D minimap UI thing to just give our players a decent idea of where enemies are in relation to them. Since we have 6 degrees of freedom movement, it can be quite easy to get disorientated and lose where you are. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, kind of sneak peek at what we're working on, and thank you for listening. Bye.